I am at the Heritage Building, that is the campus of Miranda House. This is a campus which gave us the former Delhi Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit. I am here with 4 students and I will begin by asking them, remember they're all first time voters in 2014, and I begin by asking them that when they cast their vote this time around, what is it that you have on your mind? Are you voting against corruption? Are you voting for development? Are you voting against unemployment? What is it that you're voting for?
I'm voting against corruption because that's a means to achieve development. So in a way, if the country gets rid of corruption, it is a way to develop the country. So that's certainly an agenda which is there in my mind.
I think it's the same thing for me, and I think development is really important, and I think we should concentrate on that too.
I think corruption is the major cause that I'll be voting because corruption has been brought to the forefront, and development, keeping in mind that there is social development along with economic development. So
I will vote for the deep-rooted unemployment in the country and to remove it at all costs so that the subsistence needs at least comes to the people who are in need of it. That is the only basis.
We're also talking about corruption. 3 of you spoke about corruption. Do you credit Arvind Kejriwal for bringing it to the front page headlines this time around?
I think before Kejriwal, it was Anna Hazare who initiated the whole notion of corruption. He actually, gave the public the awareness that corruption is happening. We need to get rid of it.
He is the only one who has been synonymous with the anti-corruption movements.
Are you disappointed with the way he handled Delhi government when he was given such a huge mandate?
Yeah, I think he should have been a little more patient and really concentrated on Delhi rather than really jumping into for the Lok Sabha elections and all.
I think it would have made a better opposition rather than the ruling party, and that would have taken his party to a much greater level than what it is today.
Had he not quit in 49 days, I think we would have had an option of voting for AAP.
How important is history for you when you vote in 2014? Will the Gujarat riots of 2002 play any role on your mind?
Deep down, somewhere when I decide whom I have to vote for, somewhere unconsciously that factor is pricking, and it abstains me from supporting the party totally. So it definitely plays a vital part in deciding.
I think it does because, this wholeheartedness thing won't come while voting for him, because we'll always have this thing that what if the same thing gets repeated? What if history repeats itself?
Yeah, now that we've had enough of Congress, we would want to take on BJP because it has promised so many things.
Because bringing change is the only option we have left now.
I think public is willing to make considerations if they have a fine rule. I don't think they're averse to bringing new changes, which is pro-development.
Narendra Modi's biggest asset going into this election has been the Gujarat model and the development in Gujarat. Critics have found fault with it, saying that it has not been accompanied by inclusive growth. What is your take on it?
Definitely, like we discussed, the dropout rate there in Gujarat is much higher than the rest of the country. So the positive aspects have been highlighted, whereas there are certain negative things which we don't know about, we are not aware about.
I think we are getting to know only what is shown to us. So again, the same thing happens. We really can't trust them wholeheartedly.
I think it is very, very hyped because I've read somewhere he has so many publicists and these media houses that actually go and I'm basically propagating his achievements, which are not always true. Even though Gujarat model, I'm not denying that it's a bad model, but then we have seen actual developments in Bihar too. There have been developments in Bihar, and that credit goes to Nitish Kumar. But he doesn't go on talking about his Bihar model
He doesn't come
everywhere.
to the forefront as
much as
yeah.
the
He
other
is
parties.
Gujarat is.
There have been developments in
Modi is a
Jharkhand.
propagandist.
Yeah.
I feel, and he's been propagating his good views. It's a good thing, no doubt, but the public needs more of work rather than just talking.
If you analyze then the general elections this year around, do you think that the third front is perhaps a reality?
Regional parties are very, very powerful when it comes to areas like UP, Bihar, or down in the south where Congress and BJP actually have no hold.
I think the local parties should unite against one front and show that they have the real power to work for the common man rather than playing dirty politics.
When we talk about 2014, we can't end a conversation without talking about Rahul Gandhi. He also talks about certain important issues like women's empowerment. He talks about rights to information. Does this appeal to you?
It does, but I think what is important is going beyond talking.
I think it's the same thing. I think he has to really work hard for it, and I think he's to show us that yes, he can do it, because we've heard enough of his speeches.
You think Rahul Gandhi is not walking the talk?
I think there was in the kind of Modi wave that is right now, there was a time where there was Rahul wave as well. If he would have stepped at that time, instead of making Manmohan Singh as the Prime Minister again, if Rahul Gandhi would have worked then, maybe we would have, kept that in mind and then taken a decision.
Okay, so on a scale of 10, rate your leaders. Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal.
Narendra Modi I would rate as 3. Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi 1, and Arvind Kejriwal probably 4.
I think 2 for all.
Narendra Modi 4, Rahul Gandhi 1, and Arvind Kejriwal about 2.5.
I think Narendra Modi is a 5, Rahul Gandhi 2 or 3, Arvind Kejriwal 6. I think he's a driving force now.